Welcome to the Chaosis podcast, proudly distributed exclusively by Heavy Magazine, the Southern Hemisphere's largest metal publication. With us today on the show is the lead singer for A Killer's Confession and ex-Mushroomhead frontman, Waylon Reavis. Welcome to the show, Waylon.
Thank you for having me. It's so weird, doing this because, it's 12:40 a.m. here. What time is it there?
We've just gone 4:40 in the afternoon.
Oh, I remember it was 4:40 this afternoon. I think I took off on my drive.
So we'll just bust into the first question. So we've actually just caught you on the tail end of coming home from being in the studio. Can you can you let us know a little bit about what you were doing in the studio?
I'm working on our fourth full-length album, Victim 1.
Nice.
Finishing vocals, going out and did the single. Have just got there on Monday night and just finished today, Sunday. It's Monday morning now.
Yes.
So, it's like just been there the entire time, just mashing songs out. And I've had ideas. I've been working on this album since late October, early November, and finally just at that point to where vocals are done. Going into mix and master, and we should be seeing the final results in the next week or so. So
so on the topic of the album, not so long ago you released the single Tongue.
Yes,
it's a great song, huge song. You seem to have returned back to the more heavy side of your roots with some of the horror themes.
Yes,
is that an indication of what we're going to see?
Not now. There are heavy elements. I mean, Tongue is Tongue,
Sure.
It's like you don't want an album that is completely just beating your face in like that from start to finish. I have always been an artist, and you can go back to the Mushroomhead stuff. I've always did this, it could be creepy, but it could be melodic at the same time. And I accomplished that. I mean, yes, is this a heavy album? Yes. But is this an experimental album at the same time? Yes. It what I did this week, I didn't even know that I could do what I did.
Nice.
I'm saying
Awesome.
this right now, it was, we did a song, and Julie, my wife, is a very hard person to impress and a hard person to be like, oh, that's cool. She's just Julie. That's her. I love her to death, but that's my wife.
Yes.
And for her to go, wow, play it again. Wow. That's not my wife. My wife is like, oh, that's good. On to the next thing,
Sure.
she loved Angel. She loved Numb. She loved certain songs, but she's never, and this with anybody, she never just goes, wow.
That's awesome. You're obviously coming down to Australasia in October. Any indication on what you might be doing? Any surprises that you might be able to shed some light on, or what can the fans expect? Which Waylon are we going to get?
You're going to get the Waylon you're seeing right now. You're going to get the Tongue Waylon. You're going to get the old Mushroomhead Waylon. You're going to get the theatrics. I'm not coming down empty-handed, so to say.
Nice.
I'm going to bring as much as I physically can. Show wise, and
Nice.
Which is not including myself, but when it comes to that visual that everybody's seeing everywhere with the AKC show and what I've done with Mushroomhead, I'm going to bring as much as I possibly can down there, and I'm probably going to push myself to the point of exhaustion and passing out, because it is such a long flight that, it's I think as soon as we land, we go to rehearsals, and then after rehearsals, we hop on a flight, and there we go. That's going to be, and it's going to be go, 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 go. But at the same time, I'm preparing myself. I'm finishing up the AKC stuff I'm doing here, and I have Lee joining me, coming with me to Australia, but the other guys are sitting back, staying home, and we're just going to go test the waters, in Australia, and try to introduce you guys to A Killer's Confession properly, and but while at the same time doing the Mushroomhead stuff, and I'm trying to give everybody a little bit of what they want.
Nice, yeah. No, that's awesome. No, and the fanfare and the buzz down here is real.
Dude, it's crazy. I see it, and I'm like, wow.
we've been waiting a long time, bro. Yeah.
It's been almost a decade. And what I did at Soundwave, I hold myself to that level. And that was my last experience there. And granted, we were not doing those huge places like this time. We're doing a more intimate setting, but like the intensity and what I plan on bringing will be the same. And I from what I'm reading, Andrews is planning the same thing. So I think you guys are going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. There seems to be a lot of pop and heavy metal at the moment. You've got some quite strong feelings on that. Would you care to share those with us?
Well, it's not that I have real strong feelings. I just I see a lot of metal guys becoming pop stars, and vice versa. There's nothing wrong with pop melodies. I mean, let's just get that straight. But if you're metal, we're not Michael Jackson. We're against the grain. But I don't mind if you take that kind of stuff and lyrically and conceptually twist it in a way where it's like a play on it in a way, because I think pop melodies are some of the best melodies in the world. I mean, there's not one of us that doesn't like a Michael Jackson song.
Sure.
Yeah, you cannot be you might not be a fan of him, but there's a song he's done that you're like, yeah, that's good. But when it comes to metal, I just feel like a lot of bands, but I think it's the industry too at the same time.
Sure.
I think it's the fact it's such a crunch in the social media and with hip hop and this country and, pop, all just like, it's just all crammed into one. It's becoming like this ball of goo. And I'm not sure that metal artists really sit with that. I think that, it's like you're misconstrued on what we are. We're the devil's advocate, metal has always been that though. Metal has always been that against the grain, saying things that are not as popular as, people would like to believe, but they're not. We're the ones that question authority. We're the ones that question everything around us, and I feel like that's been lost, and a lot of bands just going along and just hook, and that's pop.
Sure.
And it's like, that's cool if you're going to do it, but at the same time, remember who you are. Right. Remember, be the question, be the objection, be that, metal is a voice and metal is a power. And I say this in a way, and I'm not saying I'm powerful or anything like that. I'm saying it's this metal, just it's that we're the stinking sons of bitches in the back alley. Remember that we're not in the forefront. We're not about being pop stars. But that goes back to punk too. Punk really, like old school punk, really embodied that. Didn't give a shit where if I'm allowed to cuss, I'm sorry, but didn't give a shit. Yeah. It's about it's about that message, and I just feel like it's all just like, let's get to the hook as quick as possible and just toss out a pop song. And it's just like, man, that's not metal. You got a great riff, but man, I don't know where it's like, there's no substance.
Yeah, so to say. Yeah. And metal's always been like the counterculture, and it's sort of been, yeah. And I guess that's part of the assimilation into pop culture from counterculture is probably what's happening. That we're seeing, and
it's like somebody, oh, you're just old, you don't know what's hot. It's like, well, it's like I know what's real, and I know what moves me, and talking about fashion and just dumb stuff that that makes no sense at all, that has no real effect on my life. I like hearing a song that like Black Sabbath. I'm going to be listening to, Fairies Wear Boots for the rest of my life. I'm going to be listening to Warpaint for the rest of my life. I can't say I've heard a song like that I'm going to be listening to 20 years from now.
Yeah.
In a long time. And I'm being honest, like when was the last time that something so anthematic and so, groundbreaking and moving and meaningful is going to stand the test of time that long?
Nice. Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, I didn't run for the hills.
Yeah.
Forever. Ever.
Yeah. I feel it. Cool. All right. So Now, moving on from that, there's obviously been a lot of demand we've seen online for you to deliver a potential Mushroomhead set in the States. Any message to the American fan base?
I don't know if it'll ever happen. This might be a one and only deal.
Nice.
It's like I'm doing this for the Australian fans, and
Nice.
it's a part of a thing that it's like the way it had to work. It's like this is what I have to do, but at the same time, I've not done this in so long in Australia. Being the fact that you guys don't get the tours and the stuff like here in the States. It's just an everyday thing. There's something to get to the club every night.
Yes.
There's one of the stars is there every night. And to go down there, but my last experience here was just so amazing. It's still like one of the greatest moments of my life. Coming to your country was just like, I love you guys. I love being there. I just love the culture. I love the animals, even though every one of them can kill me. I love them all equally. And,
Nice.
but it just like, I feel like it's been long enough. It's time to do it. It may be the last time, but I can't get you a definite answer. I don't foresee it happening again after this. Yes. But that's what I think makes this so special too. Indeed. Is the fact that it's about to be a once in a lifetime thing that I do.
Nice. No, and we fully appreciate it too. There's obviously a rising tour costs, and there's a lot of large artists online fairly disgruntled about not being able to go out on tour because of these rising costs. Is there any advice or anything that you could pass on to other musicians that they may be able to take on board in terms of making touring financially more feasible?
Well, first of all, it's like with any business, you got to downsize. You got to cut costs and the first cost is your bus. You need to get rid of your bus. You need to stop thinking that you need to, be in this lavish, vehicle to get to tour. And I understand. So, well, I got a crew. Well, it's called a Sprinter van. Downsize. Because I bought a Sprinter and then set up the entire inside to be like a Prevost bus, and you can see that on Bus Invaders, right? It's actually
I watched it. Yeah.
I did that, but I saved so much money because you got to think when you're driving these huge vehicles and you got many of them. You got to downsize, It's like even when you factor in, it's like, well, I got 3 of them. It's still cheaper than 3 buses. It's still cheaper than one bus because you're paying the driver, getting a hotel every night. You gotta downsize and you gotta make it work for your business, just like anything else. It's like you got to look at what the market is, and then how far is your money going. You got to look at gas. You got to budget. You got to be smart. And like with AKC, I could put us back in a tour bus, but I choose not to because like I bought everything, and it's like I'm getting the same job done at not even a quarter of the price. It's like I could go out there and throw my entire any kind of profit that was going to go back to the band to go back into the band to do recording or pay the guys into a bus. But what's the point of that if you're just going to go out there and go homeless? So you got to start there. And that's the first thing. Like everybody looks at, well, the tour bus. Tour bus is the first thing I eliminate. First thing I eliminate is tour bus. Then I eliminated, do you really need extra people? Who is not needed? Now, granted, with these stadium shows, they need the bus, they need the tractors and trailers, and that's understandable because you're hauling all these trusses and all this massive equipment. But if you're not on that level, but you are at a theater club level, back it down to the Sprinter vans or what we call here in the States the bandwagon. Like I cut out hotels, everything. We'll go to a Planet Fitness here. It's $10 a month, and I'll go get my shower. I'll park in the lot and sleep. It's like, and then I'll go in, go work out, wash, get the car, or I'll stop at a Flying J or like a truck stop. I don't know if you guys have those.
Not really.
It's we have these things called flying J's and pilots, and just all the truckers will stop at night because they're only allowed to drive so much, and then you get these places, and there's nothing more beautiful than to sit between two trucks running. Is the greatest sound in the world, and it will knock you out. You don't believe it, but like just the rumbles of those engines. That's nice. I'm going to bed. Yeah, and it really does work. But like, really, it's downsizing. It's a lot of downsizing. Like, we run with a skeleton crew. We will run with the sound guy. And then sometimes I won't, because like if a good sound man is running a house, he knows how his house sounds, and he'll make you sound good as long as you'll talk to him. And the key word is talk, not yell at him. You be like, okay, this is what we want to try to do. I'm gonna sit out here with your sound check and figure it out. And I usually have a good time with the sound guy, because I'm able to explain, like, this is what AKC is. Let's go from here. Turn this up. You're gonna be perfect. Set it, forget it. Slap chop.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, just moving on from that. So this may be a little sensitive to discuss, but a few years ago you had a cancer scare. How's the health now?
My health is good. I go back in. They were able to cut everything out of me, and like, have to go through anything major. Like, it was very, very early stages of it, and I had to be more under a supervision to make sure it didn't like the way the doctor take root. They had to cut everything out, and like, I got prodded for a good year and a half after that, just making, oh, you're good. Like, I got so bad, I'd go to my dentist, pull my pants down, be like, oh, wrong doctor.
Well, it's obviously good to see that you can have a laugh about it now anyway. In the States, you guys are suffering from venues taking merch cuts. That hasn't affected us down here. Can you explain a little bit about what's happening, and how badly is it affecting your bottom line?
Well, the fact is, this has been happening as long as I can remember.
Sure.
It's like a 15%, and they say it's towards taxes in the state or Providence or whatever. And I get that. But when you're talking anything above that, I got issues with. Like, 15% is fine. I'm willing that. You brought me there, but you start asking for 30 or 40, I'm gonna be like, well, I want 20% of your bar.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll make the arguments, well, if you're not selling anything to anybody without us, well, you're not selling any booze without the band. So, like, it's a two-way street there. Yeah. And you can win this argument if you're smart and you understand the business. Be like, it's like 15%. I'm okay. I'm okay with giving you a cut. You gave me a platform. But if you get greedy on me, I'm going to get greedy right back. And be like, well, let me see your bar tab.
No, fair enough. Cool. All right. That's been an awesome little chat there, brother. So before we end this, is there any message that you've got to your Aussie and Kiwi fans? Anything you want to part with?
Cannot wait to see you guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. You get off of that. My cat decided to scratch on my leather.
Oh,
yeah. Mom will get mad if she sees that. I can't wait to see you guys. I really can't. New Zealand, especially, I've never been there. Beautiful country. I'm dying to get there. So, guys, just give me a couple more months. I'll be there, and I promise you, I'm gonna deliver. I'm gonna give you guys something to remember, and hopefully, it won't take me 10 years to get you there again.
That's nice. Well, thanks very much, Waylon, for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Sorry it took me so long to get home.
No worries, brother. Okay, and you can catch Waylon live throughout Australia and New Zealand this October on the Numetal Mayhem tour. On the next episode, we'll be chatting with Anders Kolsefny. See you then, and keep it heavy.